guys, welcome back to Rome. So after I talked to you guys yesterday, I met up with my friend later in this area of town called Trastevere. It's totally wrong, but anyways, it starts with a T. A really cute area, walked around there a little bit. Just a lot of like smaller streets with restaurants and people hanging out, dining in the streets, really cute. So we walked around there a bit and then stopped at this one bar to have an aperitivo, like the drink you have before dinner. So we had a Negroni, which is a typical Italian drink made of Campari, martini, and gin, I believe. Anyways, it was kind of cool too because they had this little like appetizer buffet. You could have as much as you want and it comes with a drink. So pretty good deal considering it was €8, and that included the food too. So we stopped there for a bit, walked around a little more, and then went to this other place to grab a bite called Trapisso. And basically they have kind of like a modern twist on Italian food, and they serve these, it's kind of like a sandwich. It's a triangle piece of bread and it's stuffed with whatever you want. I got one that was chicken carpaccio, I think it was, and they have like all sorts of options. So that was really good, and had a beer with that, Italian beer. And then afterwards we stopped at this bar. I don't remember the name, but it's like this famous bar. It was already famous long ago, but there was this Italian movie film there, so it's even more famous, even though this was a while back. But a lot of people just hanging out at the bar in the streets, that area. So we had this other little drink that you're supposed to have like before you go to sleep. I forget what it was, but it actually kind of reminded me of Fireball, surprisingly. Kind of tastes like cinnamon. But anyways, so that was a cool catching up. The guy that I met up with is actually a couch surfer that I met in San Diego, but he's from Italy. So he was there for a couple of years and then is back now living in Rome, so that was cool. And then today I've been exploring like the Vatican area. So I went earlier to the St. Peter's Basilica over there, walked around a bit. I was kind of like very indecisive today as far as like what to do, to go in, to not, tour, etc. because I feel a lot like I should be doing this stuff because I'm here, but at the same time like not totally feeling like it and waiting in lines and all that stuff. So I was kind of going back and forth, decided to wait in line, but then you can't enter unless you're like pretty much fully covered. And I have a tank top and shorts, and I was hoping they had something inside that you can borrow or like rent, but they didn't. Anyways, long story short, I didn't end up going inside. And then I was debating later to do like the Vatican and Sistine Chapel, but I don't think I'll make it. Technically, I guess I could go back now, but it sounds like a lot of effort, and I'd have to also buy like these scarves to cover up, and so I think I'm just passing on that. But after getting out of course, the like extremely touristy area, although there's tourists everywhere, but it's been more enjoyable, I feel like, just kind of like walking around on the streets. Walked by the Castle of the Holy Angel, which is along the water, some more street music over there, and then I went to, right down here below is this Obelisco Flaminio, which is a nice plaza. And then also like leading into this plaza is a nice shopping street that I walked along there. Right now I'm in Park Borghese, something or other. Villa Borghese, I think, which is a really pretty park that overlooks that square. So I feel like Rome has a lot of like beautiful squares and stuff like that I've been checking out. And speaking of that, after here there's this other square called the Spanish Square that has Spanish steps as well. I'm going to check that out also. I think I'll leave it with that. So that's pretty much been what I've been doing today. Try to remember a few more things I've learned along the way. So I've learned that Italy has about like 20 different dialects, and the official Italian language became official I think about 150 years ago, because it was Dante's like language, which actually came from Florence or that area. But because he had written all this literature in this language, it kind of became the official language, and eventually everyone learned to speak it. But in other parts of Italy, sometimes it sounds totally different, and like if Italians go there, they don't even understand each other. So if they're speaking the different dialects, so that's interesting. And I've noticed like they charge you more if you're dining in. I went to the cafe the other day before I came here, and so there are some people like standing up at the counter having a coffee. Usually they do really small espressos. Anyways, so if you eat there standing up, it's one price, but if you like sit down at the table, it's another. And what else? Trying to see. Oh, so the mafia still exists. I found out a little bit about that. It started in Sicily, as did, what is it called? I forget the word, the dessert. Anyways, I'll get back to that later. But so it's still around. I don't think as prominent anymore, but basically like mafia, it's like it stems from like one family basically, and they'll go around to businesses and things like that and basically make them like pay them off to leave them alone and not cause their business any trouble, so people will pay them off basically so that they stay out of their way in their business and leave them alone. It was interesting to learn a little bit about. And let's see, tiramisu is from northern Italy, and there's so much to try to remember. The cypress trees are originally from Florence as well, and I learned also yesterday that I think it was this tree that the Romans used to carve some weapons out of, because it's like really strong wood. I believe it was that same type of tree, possibly not though. And then let's see what else I learned. Oh, I learned also yesterday that so part of the area where I was exploring the like old original Roman city, there's an area in there called the Forum, and I learned like that's how we got the word forum today, like a forum online, because back in the day they would basically use these areas to hang out and have discussions and talk and that kind of thing, and so that's how the word came about that we use today. I'm sure there's a lot of other little side notes that I'm forgetting, but let me show you guys the view real quick of the park. The sunset just went down not too long ago. It's 7:20, I checked. That's the official time now, unfortunately. But anyways, and there's a little bit of the park below. So it's really pretty up here. And then tomorrow I am headed to Venice, which I'm excited about. I have a feeling I'm gonna like it the most. One day I'm gonna have to come back and go to like the ocean in Sicily and stuff like that, because I think that's totally more up my alley than like everything. Although like I know when you come to Italy you have to go to Rome and that kind of stuff, but I'm just about the beaches. So yeah, I think that's about it for now, and I'll talk to you guys from Venice when I get there. Talk to you soon. Bye. Ciao.